Hello Leeds United fans, hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Conor here and we are back with another One Leeds video. If you wouldn't mind doing me a favour and smacking that like button, make sure you subscribe as well to the channel, and if you want to get your comments in the section below, please do so. There was over 200 on yesterday's video, there were over 100 on the debrief as well, so I really appreciate your engagement and your interaction. Let's get into today's topic, shall we? So there has been a photo going around, I'll pop it on screen now. Novak Djokovic, no that's not the photo, Leeds United fans. Novak Djokovic was playing yesterday in Monte, Carlo, and yeah, there was an image that surfaced of certain Leeds United players out in Monte Carlo watching Novak Djokovic, and this sparked an absolute frenzy online. It sparked chaos, it sparked argument, debate, all of this stuff which we like to discuss on this channel, and who's right, who's wrong. Obviously football is subjective, everybody's opinion is different, but I want to get into exactly what I think on this one. So overall, is it an issue footballers having a break? No, it is not an issue footballers having a break. This is something that literally, when it comes to footballers and the amount of money that they have, could have been a fly out there and a fly out back job. Even if it's not, even if it's a stay over job, absolutely fine. I think the issue fans are having is this would this be an issue really if Leeds hadn't lost 5-1 to Crystal Palace? It certainly wouldn't be an issue. It would be something that Leeds fans would be lapping up. They'd be very, very happy at the fact that Weston McKennie, who's pictured, Junior Firpo, who's pictured, Luis Sinisterra, who's pictured, are, you know, having fun together. A little bit of camaraderie, a little bit of cohesion off the pitch, a little bit of friendliness as well, building relationships. The fact that Leeds have lost 5-1 and are right in the midst of a relegation battle is what Leeds fans are a little bit upset about with this photo. Now, as I've said at the start, I understand why fans are annoyed by it. It looks, from the photo evidence, that these three Leeds players are having a jolly. They're in Monte Carlo, they're watching Novak Djokovic. But I do think their experience will be slightly different to mine and yours. I think if me and you went to watch Novak Djokovic in Monte Carlo, we would have a good time, if you get my drift. I think with footballers, there was nothing in the pitch that showed any evidence of any alcohol consumption, of any, you know, binge sessions or anything like that. It's literally just footballers, in my opinion, having a break away from what is going on at Leeds United now. When we look at it as well, the Premier League is a pressure cooker. Games every week. You know, we've had the World Cup as well intertwined with the Premier League season. The intensity that's been on this season and is still on this season is absolutely massive. So I think separating the football is really, really key for some players, and you never know what happens with McKennie mentally, with Firpo mentally, with Sinisterra mentally. They may have needed this. They may have needed a little bit of time away from Ellen Road, from Thorpe Arch, to get their heads straight, and boy, do we need all three, because all three are up there with our best players. So I wouldn't castigate them and I wouldn't hound them for going away just for a day's break to maybe watch their favourite tennis player. I just wouldn't do that. Listen, if they come back now, if Luis Sinisterra comes back now and scores 2 goals, Firpo puts in a brilliant performance against Liverpool, and McKennie, you know, dons the midfield, then nobody's going to be complaining about this. And I think it's one of those where you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. I always say that in life, you kind of have to give people the benefit of the doubt. Not giving them the benefit of the doubt would be, you know, anticipating that they're going out there for a 3 or 4 day jolly, they're on the booze, and they're not really bothered about Leeds United. I think they're all assumptions which I can understand at the minute because of what's going on, but I also think they're a little bit unrealistic, to be honest. So don't get too upset about it. It's probably just a day in Monte Carlo. Every single player deserves a day off or days off, and as long as they're fit, ready and fighting for the Liverpool game, I've got no problem with it. And guys, a lot of people have been asking me about potential Leeds players picking up bans as well. Leeds players are actually not at risk of facing a 2-match ban ahead of the Premier League's yellow card suspension cut-off point in 2 weeks' time. I think Willie Gnonto and Weston McKennie have been at the forefront of people's minds, but obviously Junior Firpo, who naturally picks up a yellow card every game or every other game. The suspension rule for the Premier League says that if a player is shown 10 yellow cards by the 32nd fixture, they'll automatically receive a 2-match ban. However, after that point in the season, any threat of a 2-match ban is waived as teams fight for their Premier League survival in the business end of the season. And with Leeds already Leeds having already played 30 matches, and with no Whites players on 8 yellow cards, it'd be impossible for anyone to receive a 2-match ban. So I think that's absolutely critical when you sort of looked at a little bit of indiscipline, which was definitely occurring in the Palace game, especially when it came to Willian Jonso, who genuinely looked like he wanted to get sent off. I do, when you look at that Palace game, think that Michael Elise got a lot more into the game, and I think this just shows how important Junior Firpo's been to Leeds United. I think he got a little bit more into the game when Firpo got himself a yellow card, but we've seen that however many times, even with Firpo's great performances and much improved performances, he does need to keep a lid on those yellow cards, because the yellow card he gave away in that first half, and that sort of started the momentum for those Crystal Palace set pieces. It just simply didn't need to happen. Cool heads in difficult situations. That's all it needed from Mark Rocker and Junior Firpo when it came to giving away set pieces. And this is something that Leeds United are going to have to take into consideration going forward, because you would much rather have the opposition have the ball, recycle the ball, keep in your shape, instead of giving away stupid set pieces on the edge of our box, because we know what seems to happen with Leeds near on every single time. The really exciting one, Leeds fans, which I know is not going to set the world alight at the minute, but it is one for the future, which is Victor Orta, packaged up really, isn't it? But this one is something that I do know quite a bit about, obviously, with this individual being at Manchester City. So Shay Charles is an individual who's played for City's, obviously the youth academy, and he's been almost within the City squad this season. He was on the bench in the RB Leipzig game. Pep's talked him up quite a bit. He's a holding midfielder, and he really is fantastic. He's starring for the Northern Ireland national team at the minute. Loads of the Irish are talking about him as if he's going to be the next big thing for the next 10-15 years, and apparently Leeds are in contention to sign the holding midfielder. So he's only 19 years of age. Apparently his pathway is going to be blocked at Manchester City with just the array of talent that they have. So that's exciting. It is exciting that we're able to be linked with players like this. I think the frustration from me and the frustration with every single Leeds fan, and this was once again encompassed in the January window when we signed Rutter, who I think is going to be a really, really good player, by the way. But is it what we need right here, right now? I don't think it is. I don't think it is when it comes to Jorginho Rutter. But that it doesn't really matter. It is what it is. We've signed him now. He's one for the future. But someone like Shay Charles, depending on what division we're in, it would be nice if this was just, if we were able to be linked with players right now who potentially we were talking to, whoever, were out of contract or Leeds were heavily linked to, who were players for the here and now. But the issue with that is Leeds just have no idea what division they're going to be in, so it's going to be a difficult one. Another bit of news that we found out yesterday, everyone is Leeds have essentially been kicked off the USA tour, which isn't going to be that fruitful and that good news for our potential owners, San Francisco 49ers, who are coming in. Obviously, Leeds have a few American players as well. If we do stay in the Premier League, who are there to be marketed out to an American audience. Tyler Adams, Brendan Harris, and Weston McKennie, who essentially has an obligation to sign for Leeds if we stay up. That is pretty damning. And when Fulham replaced Leeds, it was a bit of a stab in the heart, wasn't it? Because it's like, wow, is this really where we are? So Leeds were kicked off the American tour. I don't know if it's dependent on if Leeds stay up. Leeds may stay up, and if they do stay up, are they going to be allowed back on the tour? It doesn't look like it, because they've given Fulham full reins to go out and market the tour, and this is going to be at the start, I believe, of the summer. So yeah, pretty damning really, and it just shows that Leeds really need to get out of this fight, because opportunities like this will go. For me, guys, Aston Villa are showing an interest in Calvin Phillips, and they're ready to smash their transfer budget this summer by signing the England midfielder. What are your thoughts on that one? Calvin Phillips, did we ever think he was going to work out at Aston Villa? Did we think that Leeds United actually got a good deal out of that one? I could see that happening, to be honest with you. I mean, you saw even last night with Rodri's finish and maybe a couple of youngsters coming through, obviously Rico Lewis being there, that Calvin is going to move on. I think he will anyway. I think even like Rodri's first season, Cancelo's first season, when they were getting intertwined with that City mould, I don't think you've ever seen really with them the lack of minutes that Calvin Phillips has had. So yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see. Would you take him back if Leeds stayed up? I've seen that question online. That's it from me, everybody. Let me know your opinions in the comment section below. We've had a few things to talk about today. Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I'm saying? listen, football's all about opinions, isn't it? So I really appreciate yours, whatever it may be. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you in a bit.